I'm reacting to Karim Benzema's watch collection. Je m'appelle Nico. It's all about the French, the baguettes, the cheese, and whatever the the French do. What do the French do? We don't really have many French followers, but I mean, Je m'appelle Nico.
The World Cup's starting now.
The World Cup is starting. Who's your favorite in the World Cup? I have my bets on Senegal.
I want Portugal to win.
Portugal? No.
For Cristiano.
Did you see that interview with Cristiano Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Listen, disrespect me as much as you want. F me in the ass. If you want to pay me 25 million to do that, I'll do anything.
See, that's why Ronaldo's the GOAT.
Off!
He does it for the passion.
Alright, is this gonna be Cristiano's collection or Karim? Because he's been in the shadow of Cristiano for so many years!
But not anymore. He's now 35 and he's at the peak of his career.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours.
Yeah, he's like, what do you call that movie?
Benjamin Button?
No, where he gets younger.
Benjamin Button?
Oh, it's not... That's Benjamin Button. Benjamin Button. Call me daddy, you dirty whore. Before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel now. And if you want to buy or sell your watch, go to brideandpinion.com. Even if you want to buy a god tier Casio, because we are finally official retailers of Casio. That's god tier. Let's get stuck in. Oh, surprise, surprise. The aesthetically challenged GMT Master 2. That is a joke of a watch. Reference number 126720 VTNR. People call this a Sprite. You done that on purpose, didn't you? Yeah. People call this a Sprite, but we're all adults, right? We shouldn't be calling watches nicknames like that, Sprite. As you can see, the crown of this watch is on the wrong side. We call this a destro watch. A watch where the crown is on the left side of the watch. Get this can out of my face, by the way. Actually, there's a really interesting story behind this watch. A story that not many people actually know, because this is not the first time that Rolex made a destro watch. If we look at the first reference number of the Rolex GMT, which was introduced in 1954, reference number 6542, a couple of years ago, a left-handed GMT, a left-handed 6542, all of a sudden showed up. People didn't realize that that watch actually existed. A lot of collectors don't believe that Rolex actually made that watch until 2015, where the auction house Philips brought to auction an extremely rare and possibly unique Rolex day-date with the crown on the left side. Sometimes we find watches that the world has never seen, or there's rumors about a watch that people have never seen. With Rolex introducing the 126720 VTNR, I think that Rolex has confirmed that the 6542 that was found many years ago was actually made by Rolex. The left-handed GMT was introduced in 2022 and it didn't come unnoticed. I was shocked. I didn't like the watch at all. And then I started thinking, there's a story behind this watch and there's a history behind this watch. And this is the cool thing about watch collecting as well. Brands just sometimes confirms myths. And that's incredible. Personally, this is my least favorite GMT Rolex has ever produced, but I really appreciate the story behind it. The current value of this watch sits between $24,000 and $26,000. Wacky start, but it didn't surprise me. Like, there's probably ADs there licking his ass constantly. This is actually quite class. Here you can see the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar, finished and made in white ceramic. Unbelievable watch. One of the most important things about the Royal Oak is the bracelet. It's potentially the most famous bracelet the watch world has ever seen. For Audemars Piguet to finish that bracelet as perfect as it is, it usually takes a watchmaker at least 10 hours to finish a steel or a precious metal bracelet. With ceramic, however, it's a bit different. Ceramic is a really difficult material to work with, and it takes at least 30 hours to finish that bracelet. Next to that, the clasp of this watch is titanium. The case back of this watch is titanium, and it makes this watch a very light profile. The dial of this watch is extremely complicated to make as well. The color combination and the pattern, as we call the guilloche, is extremely complicated. There's a really high failure rate on this dial. I believe about 40% of these dials are being rejected.
40% of workers die making this watch.
And 40% of the watchmakers that tried to make this watch die. That's how complicated this is. This is Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, reference number 26579 CB. The current value of this watch sits between $300,000 and $325,000. Ladies and gentlemen, the Patek Philippe Aquanaut chronograph, reference number 5968A. The full steel Aquanaut, one of the biggest Aquanauts Patek Philippe has ever produced. Now, this is actually really cool. A watch that made its debut in 2019, by the way. And if you look at the brand portfolio of Patek Philippe and the history of Patek Philippe, you see that it's a very formal watch brand that is only for really posh bastards. The Aquanaut was first introduced in 1997, and when it was introduced, people hated it. Hated everything about that watch because it wasn't in Patek Philippe's DNA. But for me, for sure, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore became the inspiration for the 1997 introduced Aquanaut. And you want to hear the cool story is? I actually handled the prototype of the Aquanaut. That is the actual prototype of the Patek Philippe Aquanaut. It was sold for 450,000 euros something in auction. For me, it's really cool to see that Patek Philippe is doing some more daring things rather than coloring their color book within the lines. They like to color now outside of the lines. The 5968A has a current value between $110,000 and $120,000. Now, a really cool thing is this watch was also made in white gold. However, not with the orange hands. The watch was made with a blue dial and it was made in a camo, whatever color dial that was. And a strap. What do you call that?
Camo?
It's like this. And that gives us a really good leeway to talk about the Black Friday deals at IFL Watches. Right, that's the best integration we've ever done. How about that? IFL Watches introduced their Black Friday sale from right now. Today, explore their amazing accessories like unbelievable quality watch boxes like these.
Oh, yes, Daddy.
I love the sound of that zip. I love it. They're hand-painted Casios. You can get up to 40% discount on absolutely everything, including one of my personal favorites, the Robo Toy. Look at that, son. Honestly, these are really, really cool watch holders. Hell, mate, I'm doing all sorts of dirty stuff with it. Unbelievable, quirky, cool watch stands. You can do all sorts of dirty stuff with it. The Robo Toys come in loads of different sizes and loads of different prices, and absolutely love it. This is so cool on any desk or in any bedroom if you like toys. And I would love to ask you guys to support IFL Watches as much as you support me. Fuckers. Did you see Lewandowski wearing the God tier watch during the Ballon d'Or ceremony?
Yeah.
Class. What a man Lewandowski is! But during that same ceremony, Karim Benzema was wearing the newest Richard Mille introduced RM6501, a split-second chronograph, insanely complicated to make. Like, you need to be a daddy of a watchmaker if you want to execute a split-second chronograph properly. And for that, I take my hat off to Richard Mille and take my hat off to Karim Benzema to buy a masterpiece like that. Maybe on the eye it doesn't look like the most prettiest of watches, but when you have it on your wrist, the watch completely changes in every way possible. I'm a big fan of this watch and the functionalities of this watch. An RM6501 today comes in NTPT, which is a specific carbon case produced and made by Richard Mille, and of course in rose gold, and I believe as well in steel, to be honest. It's not a limited edition run. This is a fixed line of Richard Mille. I like it! Today's value of this Richard Mille RM65 sits between $450,000 and $550,000. That's some way to pick up your Ballon d'Or award. It's not a God tier watch like Lewandowski was wearing.
Lewandowski.
But I'll give you props for this one. Right, daddy cool. Daddy cool, right? In the Rolex watch world, and particularly in the day-date collectors world, the Rolex day-date is and should always be 36mm. Within that world, I like it bigger. I like the day-date 40. I like the day-date 2, but that's a piece of shit. Luckily, they don't produce that anymore. But for the OG day-date lovers, the Rolex day-date should always be in 36mm. This is the Rolex day-date reference number 128238. The full yellow gold Rolex day-date, introduced in 2019 in, yes, 36mm. And for that, I take my hat off if I had a hat on. I really love this green dial as well, to be honest. Unfortunately for me, I can't wear that watch because it's too small on my fat chunky wrist. But an absolute class watch in every way possible. The current value of this Rolex day-date sits between $30,000 and $40,000. Yeah, this watch still breaks my heart today. I sold that watch for 65,000 sterling. I had that watch in my possession. This is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak open worked double balance wheel reference number 15407 in steel. Watch that, by the way, is also produced in several other metals, but he's currently wearing the steel variant. This is a 41mm Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. This is a complete hand-built caliber that was completely built from scratch as a skeleton movement, and that is extremely complicated to do. A proper masterpiece and a watch that will go in the history books as one of the most iconic Audemars Piguet Royal Oaks of this era we live today. You can pick up a 15407, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak double balance wheel today between $135,000 and $150,000, and now you know my pain.
Yeah, you just lost 90 grand.
Yes, I did. That is really, really cool. I actually never knew he had an RM55 Yas Marine. I knew he had a Bubba Watson, which is class in every way possible, but the Yas Marina, that is a watch that's close to my heart. A watch that was produced only 50 times and was solely sold in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi. Yas Marina is, of course, the track in Abu Dhabi. I really love Abu Dhabi. I love the people in Abu Dhabi. I would be a lot in the Emirates, in Dubai, and in Abu Dhabi. And Omar, if you watch this video, you're a legend, and I miss you loads. Omar is my mate in Abu Dhabi. He's a legend. I've been on that circuit. I slept on that circuit. We had this huge, massive hotel room on the circuit. Like, it's bizarre. For sure, this is the best hotel room of 2021. It has a bed. It has a lobby. And now comes the cool bit. It also has a full 360 view of the entire track to watch the F1 final in Abu Dhabi. Like I said, this watch was solely sold in the Emirates, in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and a limited edition to 50 pieces. And I'm wondering actually how Karim Benzema bought that watch. Like, I mean, he's a French guy in Spain. Because of the extremely limited numbers that this watch was produced, it's very, very hard to accurately value this watch. But I see the current value of this watch sitting between $700,000 and $900,000. That's not dog shit. But he also has a Richard Mille RM55 Bubba Watson, which I currently value between $300,000 and $400,000. Ladies and gentlemen, we see watchmaking history. 5980, first introduced in 2006, and it was the first ever time that Patek Philippe has made their own fully integrated chronograph in a watch. The Patek Philippe Nautilus 5980 is a flyback chronograph. That means that you can start the chronograph by pushing the top button, but also reset the chronograph by just one push of the button. This exact version, the 5980 on the leather strap in rose gold, was introduced in Basel World 2010 and is still one of the most classy Nautiluses. The current value of this watch sits between $125,000 and $140,000. He also has another AP Royal Oak perpetual calendar. Can you put $160,000 on there, please? No, do 170. No, do 175. And then I want to talk about something extremely special. This is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak open worked double balance wheel. This is the watch that was made in frosted white gold with a factory jam set stone. Jam set bezel. Reference number 15412 BC in this case, before Christ. If you really want this watch and you have a few quid burning in your pocket, the current value of this watch sits between $700,000 and $750,000. That is no dog shit watch collection, let me tell you. I don't know what the value says here, but let me tell you one thing. This guy knows his watches. So, Karim Benzema, I have a personal message for you. Let me try to say this in French. Félicitations, Karim Benzema, pour avoir remporté Ballon d'Or et bonne chance à la Coupe du Monde.